Hello on this last day of the football season. Means baseball season's around the corner. Uh, Coming to you from the dirty southwest of Salem. How's everybody doing today or whenever you're watching this? What's up, Hodges? Thank you, Brian. Uh, yeah, not expecting a lot of people to come on. I am watching the game as we're going. Philly, what's up, Mr. Mangini? Uh, I appreciate y'all's vote as well. I know I didn't get a chance to get to y'all's, but you know, the the game tonight. If the Chiefs don't do something, it's going to be. It feels awfully lopsided, and I think the refs are making sure they're not making a difference in this game so far. So I do appreciate that. I don't like either team. Really don't like the Eagles. So this is kind of a hate watch for me tonight. But it's the Super Bowl. So, as a sports fan, kind of got to watch it. And this week, fun week in the hobby, and also kind of a suck week. I touched on it yesterday on my Saturday chat. I don't want to get into it too much, but I don't know what to do with bad actors that are so big that bring so much money to certain individuals through them, like Whatnot and Fanatics with Backyard. What can we do? And I can tell you not very much, because they got such a fandom, and it's not the people that watch these channels watch. Probably the people that are buying from them, they're not watching our YouTube. They're watching, how to make a buck, how to sell things, how to do, stuff like that. It's not a very, it's for younger people. And it's sad, because that humor, they probably don't see nothing wrong with it. And, and that's all I got to say. It's just sad. I wish, the National's going to have them, and I wish they would say, you're not invited. I wish Fanatics would say, we don't want to do business with somebody that thinks that's okay or funny. So, that's kind of how I feel about it. But anyway, enough on that. I guess Golden, one of my buds on a group chat, said that Golden made another video today talking about Fanatics and how unfair it is as they got an auction house and that. The ultra rich, I laugh when they cry when things don't go their way. It makes me giggle. This guy gets most of the big stuff, memorabilia, and people choose to go with Fanatics. They choose to go with them. I think this all goes back to the Skeens card, and that's it. And he just wants to bitch a little bit, I think. So there you have it on that. Somebody get him a box of tissues. He does. Jesus, Mahomes looks like he's never. Well, I thought Mahomes has always been, like, in the first Super Bowl they won. I really thought the running back should have been the MVP, because he's who saved them. My group chat is going nuts at the moment, as it should. Ed's in it, so I'm sure he's happy, and I'm happy for Ed, not for Eagles. But I've always thought Mahomes not overrated. I think he's great, but in these Super Bowls, he just doesn't show up until later in the game, and he steals the show because he does it in the fourth quarter. he looks like shit today. And the off week might have hurt him, but who knows? Again, I'm just waiting for the season to be over. To me, this is a nothing bowl. I think most of the country is watching it as sports fans, but not as fans of these teams. And you know, it is what it is. So, you know, and right now, okay, so right now, you know, with me, I'm kind of back to not buying much. Hey, what's up, Double D? Um, what's happening? Congrats on making it into the Hall of Fame. And I want to tell everybody that got in Orlando, very deserving. The people, their channels. What's up, Amari? But I am in the camp that I wish we paid more attention to OGs, and I wouldn't mind having. I think Brad coming on to that will point to them a little bit more, and I wouldn't mind having like them like Brad and gets a few of the guys that's been around for a while, like David and Mike and Ed and some of those guys, even Mike, you know, that started all this, Moynihan, and you know, get together, select 5 names or whatever that we get to pick from, and them putting them out there so we go and look at those channels, right, and what they mean to the community. A lot of them, because of that group I just talked about, I've learned about. I've met some of them at the nationals or whatever. I love one national. I sat there and listened to. They called it the Wild West of YouTube back in the day. The craziness. You know, love. I love hearing this. I just sit there and I'm quiet. People think I'm shy at that moment, but I'm listening, and that's, you know, when there's that type of knowledge around, the smartest thing you could do is shut up and listen, and that's what I do. You know, and just because, and I want to emphasize this too before I move on from the Hall of Fame and be done with it for this year. Just because you've been around a long time either, it doesn't mean you're the best out there. And just because you've only been for 3 years doesn't mean you're not good at what you're doing, right? So I'm not one that thinks that either. If you looked at who I selected, you would see I had Orlando because Orlando is more than just a channel. He's a great human being. I think Double D's the same way. I think there's other people that I didn't vote for, and that's what I said at the beginning. It's tough to do those types of votes because you feel like you're leaving people out that's deserving. And I wish I could vote for everyone, right? That's kind of, I think a lot of people feel that way. But I also think, again, when we go to do this, recognizing people out of our community groups is pretty cool, and to grow from that. You don't have to watch. Like I said, I voted for Jeff Wilson, and I don't subscribe to him, but there was a point to that. And again, Jeff's one that talked out against Backyard, and people can call him. I call him a grifter as soon as I said it, but he hasn't gone anywhere. And I think there's one other grifter that is in our community that people seem to defend, and I think he came in, used people to get ahead, trying to make a TV show, and then he doesn't really have anything to do with the community. And I think y'all know who I'm talking about. You know, I don't know him as a person, but I think he used the community to move ahead, and you know, to do that. I don't have anything against that, but you know, I can have my opinion and call it out as well too. So and it doesn't have to be a negative, but carpet bagging is carpet bagging. But I kind of want to just talk about this, and I might, because it's the Super Bowl weekend, and I put woo instead of who up there. Whoa, who's the hobby for at this moment? And it's been several videos this week. Yeah, who, right? Who is this hobby for? Oh, you want me to name who I'm talking about, Mangini? It's Ty. I think Ty pulled one over on it, created a channel, then left it, kind of left it high and dry, and then I think he used Mike to get in good with a lot of people, and then doesn't show up, doesn't participate in any other channels, doesn't and I don't know him. It's not I'm not trying to knock him down, but I don't think he's any different than Jeff Wilson. That's my point. But people seem to support him if you say anything bad about them. They consider bad, right? So that's Ty. I don't know Ty's last name. I don't know what I said. But anyway, and I know that's not going to be a great take across our community, but but that's how I feel. But anyway, I'm talking about who is this hobby for. Wax is for the breakers and singles are for the collectors. That's what it seems like, Amari. Right now, this our world, our world that we're living in this hobby right now, as the face of it, how it's shifting. We're seeing it now with Fanatics. It didn't even take more than a year to see what Fanatics is kind of going to, what their future holds. And I know, a lot of people that are over here right now don't even into modern that much. But I think you got to remember, today's modern is tomorrow's vintage, right? However you slice it up, it will be vintage one day if there's still a collecting going on, and it's the 80s was in my lifetime, and we want to call that vintage. So I feel like Fanatics, I do like the fact that they're cutting down on product, but they need to announce some stuff. That's exactly right, Mangini, and I will cover each one of those steps. And so right now, I lost my train of thought, but with what's going on in the hobby with Fanatics, I like the fact that they're cutting back on product, but they're clear as mud what they're doing. I rather them make fewer product and be better at what they're doing. But it seems like they're cutting out a lot of collector products to make the high-end stuff. They rather make breaker products. I didn't really understand the Chris Berman thing, which if they would have pushed it and come out with Chris Berman doing something with it, would have made more sense. I didn't quite. They make that and not Heritage High number. I don't, and then they put it out for $75 for a few packs. What's up, 3D80s kid? I feel like it's kind of they're losing the point of what the hobby's for. Now, breakers, if you go back to my old school days, I said, before the pandemic, before prices went up, it feels like breakers can get as many cases as they want because they can go to them and go, if Fanatics does it directly, or if they indirectly through selling it through a second party to a third, whoever sells it to them is going to sell it to them by the truckload. It's an easy way. There you go. it's the easy way just to get rid of product at a high market, and then those breakers are going to make a ton of money, especially the big breakers. And then that drives the prices up in the second market because you don't have as much product out there for the people in the second market. Because let's be real, when one comes out, that stuff's going to be the hobby boxes, the jumbos. They're going to be breaking it by the truckloads, and because that stuff's going to be so printed, and it's going to be nuts. And there'll be some at the beginning that's going to be for collectors. But when they start doing the other stuff like museum or triple threads, some stuff that have been around, and I don't even know if they're making all of that because I haven't been keeping up with it. I don't even know where to find release data, all that stuff. I was going to look up to see what checklists were out there tonight, but I fell asleep and took a nap to get excited for this tonight. But yeah, I just know, like, with that, the breakers have really taken over, and I've been talking about that for years. I've been watching hobby boxes slowly going up. Then they made a huge jump in the secondary market. And then once Fanatics and Panini saw that, they wanted a chunk, and they put the SRP up, just driving the prices up. And putting less value, higher prices, lesser value. Not a good combination for the collector. Next is going to be the flipping culture, which I don't have a problem with, but when they're not coming in for the right reasons, if they're not collectors that are selling, like, I don't like Mike O buys a shit ton of product to sell, but we all know that he's a huge collector first and loves to open product, so he has to sell it, especially nowadays. This new phenomenon, I don't even know if it's new. You always say people selling vintage, but it seems people are buying vintage now to basically flip, trying to find it cheap. Trying to buy it cheap, maybe get it graded, flip it, or just, whatever. You're seeing more and more of that. You're seeing more and more vintage in the silver cases it shows. So, and again, if they start selling it back and forth to each other, it's going to drive up the prices for the collectors, because that's what happened to other cards. The flippers were selling the flippers, never getting it to collectors. And my fear is a lot of those cards are going to end up, they're going to end up in somebody's closet because they can't get rid of them. They got too much into them and might never see the light of day again. I'm so optimistic because it seems like a shit ton of people are going to the National, shit ton of people are going to shows still. I haven't been to a show in a while, but I'm right now, financially, I think I can still go to Philly. It's a 90% chance. But I have to look at my finances. The only show that I'm 100% for is the National. Now, if you're buying for financial, vintage is the smartest way to go, because vintage is going to at least hold its value, if not have a slow climb. But vintage had a boom because your flippers started going that way and buying up the stuff and flipping it amongst themselves. And they don't understand. They still don't understand the hobby. And that's my question is, who is the hobby for? the more and more PSA doesn't have anything for the everyday people for like the registry for lower end stuff. You still got to spend a lot of money with them to get cheap cards graded with them. Hey, what's up, Orlando? Congrats on your win. Well deserved. So you've heard my rants with PSA. They create a registry, and then corporate America gets involved with it, and then they're all about making that dollar, and they're going to the flipper market. No, well, I just think Bradshaw had a great team around him that really propped him up, made him look better than what he is. But Bradshaw was very deserving of everything he got. Again, Dallas fan, so I'm not a Pittsburgh fan. And I can't stand Montana, so it's hard for me to say good things about him coming out of my mouth. There's plenty of hobby for everyone, no matter your budget or interest. So exactly. You're exactly right, Dom. For me, and me and you've talked about it. I don't think either one of us are making, I have a good living, but I also like to live well. So I got to make my hobby smart so I get to live well. So I don't have to worry about things. But I'm also got a single income, and I have to take care of things myself. So, I have to be smarter with my hobby budget, and that's why I stopped using PSA. So what do I do now? Like, I picked up a Gary Carter for my super registry yesterday, the super duper Carter collection I didn't have, and you don't see much of those I have a couple of them. Well, I have almost. I don't have a Gary Carter playing day. I don't know which one I wouldn't have. But I got the credit card, one of the credit card ones that were already graded PSA, for $30 shipped, something like that. So, I can't disagree with that, Matt. But I don't have. Kelsey looks sad. So I bought that for like $30 shipped. So I can't really grade it with shipping for that price. So to me, that's what I'm looking for, and got a grade that I was liking. So yeah, the Eagles right now are just relentless on defense, and that's how you play them. That's how that's how you had to play you had to play Peyton Manning. You had to play the Patriots that way. The Patriots, you had to get up and dislodge their outside game to try to get Brady off timing. But back to what I've been seeing these are just my opinions too. And I mean, I feel like these all the grading companies, but PSA, the lucky thing is with SGC, they haven't messed with them yet that I can see on the outside, right? And I feel like that day is coming where they don't want to have two companies doing two different things. And I hope I'm very wrong. But that is with them, I like CGC. None of them are perfect. They all have major flaws, and they all have upside. It just seems like PSA. People like PSA because I think they got in it for registry, and then it was so many cards hit the market at one time that was using PSA and their great deals that the market got flooded with PSA cards. And and people just kind of gravitated to that because they were everywhere. And we know PSA is not the greatest graders. They have probably the biggest leniency out there. Um, yeah. Uh, but that to me is where the hobby is leaning more and more to who's got the most money. We're more in awe over. It's hard to make mistakes when you can afford to make mistakes. And I've said that all along. And those type of things, if you have the money to buy modern stuff, because I don't agree with paying, I don't pay a lot for rookies. I don't pay a lot for first cards. I don't agree with that at all. I think that is dumb, especially in baseball. Football, people have been overly burnt in football buying these draft picks at crazy dumb prices, and they don't stay in the league for 4 or 5 years. I just those things to me are stupid, but they took it over, and I think it's gonna be hard for. I've been talking about it, me and my friends and us collectors, and I include everybody over here as a friend. We have to the collectors got to slowly chip back away to get is this going to be the showdown of Drake and Lamar? I just feel like we need to slowly take it back, but I just don't see it happening because you go to shows and it's if you're the guy looking in the dollar box, you're probably getting looked at by a lot of the other people like, oh, look at that guy. What are you coming to a show for that for? And it takes all types. It takes all types in this community. And not everybody can afford to make those mistakes, buy an RPA of a rookie quarterback for several $1,000s. And then, because even I, as a collector, I'm not going to spend that much money and then turn around and that player suck. And then, I change how I collect and I can't get 30 cents for the card. Let's be real. All of us kind of look at stuff at a value, but a lot of times when I do buy stuff, I don't look at the value ever again until I do want to sell it. Right? If I change how I collect, I'm sorry, I hope I'm not getting sick. Today I got tired and I needed to go lay down. So I haven't got sick yet. Yeah, Amar, if you're smart, I've watched a lot of people. But Wester Griffiths one. He is great at going into a dollar box and bringing out gold. I've seen Pepino Man and other people do that, and I tend to go when I go to shows. Though that's the time that I look for my vintage because I like to buy it in person. And I look for nicer autographs because I have, when I go to shows, that's when I have I have more of a bankroll. Yeah, price and value. 3D, you're great. Like watching 3D save up, do certain things. He sees a card, and if he's got to sell cards or save up, he does kind of like I do, save to get those bigger cards, and he gets excited when they finally, because it feels like you accomplished something. Man, my biggest cards are the ones that I go to. That's why the National means so much to me, because I save up all year for that show. And when I go there to buy those cards, man, I am excited. When I got those Campies last year, and that stuff, it was exciting. What's up, Mike? I sent a link to all y'all if you wanted to come on. I love it, and I love when I watch these channels and they show cards. Double D excited about cards. Mangini, let's talk cards. Loves it. You know, Rick. I mean, Lou Rock. Uh, you know, I love the excitement. Orlando telling stories. I tell you, I always talk. It's okay. I get, man, Hitman. Who gets more excited over base cards of players you never heard of because they're Supermaning or there's a batting cage in the background or a mustache. It's great and it brings a smile. As you can see, I'm smiling talking about it. The enthusiasm of a collector, and that's the thing that I'm like. These people that worry more about value and how much their collection costs or what they can flip to get their next big card. They don't understand the hobby. That's when I say they don't understand the hobby, and I kind of cameo cards. I feel like they're missing something, and that's when I feel bad for them. You know, have you ever opened a pack and got an adrenaline rush because I got a David Wright and he hasn't played in 5 years, and I'm more excited about hitting that than an autograph card or memorabilia card or some card of a rookie to number to 5, because that player doesn't mean as much to me as what David Wright does or Gary Carter or Pete Alonso. I mean, by the way, we got Pete. But I just feel like, I feel like these guys really are missing something. And I got some of the heavy hitters I feel like on here, some of the guys that really are attuned to the community. Are you feeling like we're losing people? People are going away? I feel like I'm getting even more views now. I know it's around the election time, so I always get more views, but I feel like things are getting a little like more. I've gotten a little bit few more viewers, more subscribers. It's kind of picked up than it did a few months ago, or because Victor made a video today that was a little disturbing to me because I didn't know that was a trend of people leaving the YouTube community. I haven't seen it. I think there's more people today than it was yesterday. Yeah. So I was a little confused with that one. Yeah, there you go, Don. That's smart. The dealers consistently price check their showcases. Double D, you're exactly right. And I think that's coming sooner than later. And I know you guys that are more into the vintage, the crash is going to be more aligned with the modern, right? Don't you think? Because like that's what I kind of been watching is the modern stuff to see how that's going. Because I feel like, uh, when people go away, that's where they're going away from. I think vintage collectors are collectors for the most part. There is, but like I said, there's this new group of vintage people that have come in and they're about the value, and if they can find a cheap and flip, they will. There are a lot of new channels. I can't watch the entire. Yeah, that's 3D. I was thinking that before you guys came in, and when y'all came in, I was saying that I was the guy saying what you're saying now. It's impossible. It's just impossible. That's what's so good about that is the good part about the Sports Card Hall of Fame. You might see channels, especially outside of your periphery, like that you might not know about, and they have thousands and thousands of watchers. It's hard when you focus on a specific thing like rookie cards. You should branch out. Yeah, I agree with that. Basketball, football more subject to collapse, way less collectors, too many investors who are only. Yeah, Well, we've seen that this year with football. You have the Super Bowl, and you're not seeing many channels, even investor channels, talking about the Super Bowl, like who you should be watching, who you should be buying. I mean, I think most people kind of understand, but I mean, I agree. And the problem is this year you don't have it. Most of the players are established. You don't have any young guys in there, and there's definite ceilings on these cards. When you buy a card for $5,000, I'm always saying, what do you think your return is going to be? $5,100? I haven't figured that one out yet. When you start buying cards at that price, gambling aspect of the hobby has frustrated new collectors, but many are moving to vintage. Yep. At least baseball has history and way more diehard collectors. Yep. Buy no modern football. Henry, I got out of modern football for one reason. It's all about quarterbacks, and I'm a fat guy. I protected the quarterback, so I like to collect fellow fat guys, and that football hobby is not the football hobby is all about quarterbacks and the running backs and the pretty boys that catch the ball. But you might get a rookie offensive lineman. You'll get a couple of the all pros that really make a name for themselves. But yeah, I got frustrated because I want to get a real team set of my favorite team, but they don't make those. You're not going to find 50 cards or 40 cards of your team. It's going to be, and if it is, it's all going to be the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. I think we see a big melt up when basketball football is back with Topps. Fanatics will probably cause demand destruction via pricing. Do you think so? Because Amari, here's my one issue with Fanatics getting it back. All of us old heads that were around remember Topps, right? We loved the old school Topps stuff, and I can't even say early 2000s, whatever. So we get it, but these new collectors that came in within the last 5-10 years, right? They only know Panini. So I don't know if and most of them love Panini. They didn't have an issue with Panini like us guys did. Panini was the new kids, and to us, we rather see Fleer and Upper Deck and Donruss get their shit back together and not, Panini buying Donruss and stuff and score. So I don't know if that's going to be 100 complete right there. It's going to be interesting to watch that. It really will. Heck, I have a QB binder. Most of them fit. Exactly, Henry. Exactly. During the boom, people were paying thousands for third-string quarterbacks. So, yeah, because Jeff Wilson was telling you to buy the backups. So when the starters got hurt, all of a sudden everybody wanted the backups. Well, that's not how it works. But sure, I guess they're backups for a reason. I mean, that's the thing with Jeff Wilson is he gives you terrible advice, but people listen to him. That's my thing. Like, he's kind of thousands and thousands. I've said it. Went to the Nationals, saw a line to sell to him. He's not even at the booth. He's his minions, and people want to sell to him. And there's every dealer is buying, and you probably get a better deal. But no, they want to sell to Jeff Wilson. It makes absolutely no sense. The big modern cards are being sold among resellers. The dealer buys it, a flipper buys it from them at a show and sells it to another flipper the same day. It's a Ponzi. Yeah, I agree. And Mangini, when these flippers go to shows, they're going in with big money pockets, so they can sit there and go, "I'll buy this whole case from you at a certain dollar amount," and that dealer is going to give them a huge discount. for him to resell singles, as long as it makes sense for him. I and I see that, and it's not just a thing in the video game world. They're getting called out for that shit. In our world, it's not so much. It's a thing, and we deal with it. Amari, I'm opposite of your view, assuming the economy keeps moving. But cards, I'm still in the beginning of a long 10-year run up, maybe 3 years into it. Yeah, Jeff Wilson gets my back up. That's because he pays top dollar. Do you think he pays top dollar, Jeff Wilson? Or do you think he's just using his name to get people to sell him shit? But if he pays top dollar, God bless him, but he's selling it above. Exactly. They were playing hot potato flipping to other flippers. Yep. And sooner or later, these cards have to get to a collector. And we all sit there and we're going to talk about the one thing that we all hate to hear is, I got X, Y, and Z into this. Well, sorry, bud. You could either take a loss today or a bigger loss tomorrow when it goes even cheaper. There are guys selling cards on Facebook before they even get them in hand. From his videos, he pays top dollar. From what I've seen, that may just be for the camera. Cards HQ buying booth was paying 70% on pretty much everything to keep that massive money pit stocked with inventory. And I guess they probably have 70%. Ain't that kind of what the going rate is? I mean, and if that's what he's doing, and people know it when you're going up there straight up, then that's a good thing. I don't have a problem with that for whatever the reasoning is. If people want to sell their stuff, and I hate taking up for Jeff Wilson, but if that's what he's doing and he's straight up about it, and that's not a terrible thing. Heck, I just bought some cards for actual $3 at the National. I got you, Dom, and my $3 is top. Yeah. Yeah, I yeah. And so I was sitting there, and the first thing I saw when he was returning a kick, I was like, is this the next guy that what's his face is going to play in a movie? What was the other guy that played? They had the white guy from the Eagles from the 80s that returned kicks and stuff. Should pay more than $3 for a card. Yeah. I did. For me, I did. So on Sport Lots, it's the name of that game is get as many cards listed as you can on there for as cheap as possible. And I did. So I got one person that bought 115 cards from me in one shot. So, if you just want to get rid of cards like I'm doing, I don't have a problem with that. Get rid of 115 and buy one Pete or Gary Carter or David Wright. Yeah, Vince Papelli. There you go. That's his generation. That was a nice run he had though. The pick in 6. That was nice. Yeah. So this generation, it's been interesting. It's always, if you go back, and I keep saying going back, when the market spiked, when our world went to shit with COVID, right, wrong, or indifferent, shit got shut down and people were finding other ways to enjoy what they were. Marky Mark, there you go. We're getting everybody. I almost cried when I couldn't find a box to open. And I might have, because it just felt like my hobby was getting taken away. I used to love ripping product, because that's what I did. I grew up opening packs, opening boxes, sitting on the floor with friends, going into it together, buying a $25 box or whatever in the 80s and 90s, and just having a good time. But what that did was say taught me how to enjoy the hobby in other ways. And therefore I'm a little grateful for that. I figured out that I needed to focus more. Opening product is a sucker's bet. It's not always a bad thing. I still open up some stuff. I did some hockey from last year that I found to try to get Bedard on the cheap, and it worked. I found, I've opened up WNBA, I've opened up Star Wars. I think that's about it. But not a lot of it, just enough to open up some, because I wanted more than just a couple of players in the WNBA. I kind of wanted to get a Z-Folio started. Pete Papel only has one card set. I knew he had one. I didn't know if he had more than one. I feel like a lot of stuff got taken away, but it taught us how to collect, Dom, to get back to how to collect on any type of dollar amount or things like that. And that's what you got to do sometimes. It's just take a step back, reevaluate where you're at. Same thing. People are upset because the blacks and some of these other bordered cards that we had and we enjoyed to have. And it's understandable. We get upset when stuff gets taken away, but we'll just replace it with something else. And there's plenty of black borders, I bet you don't have in your collection, that you can go and get as singles. And, I feel that way with anything. I have fun, reconnecting with my catchers and loving collecting my catchers. Really enjoying that. That put, if it could, because I get fired up over the hobby anyway, just ignited my fire even more. Maybe an inferno in me that was at a new level. Really, and this picture behind me is part of that. When I saw that picture, I had to have it. I could not get it because I was on a plane and I didn't want it to mess up. But the next year I saw it at the show when I drove, and I got it. So driving has its positives. I just, man, it is just, I feel sorry for people that only worry about value. There's way more to that. That is part of the hobby, but it is just very small portion. Part of me wish we never went mainstream. I said before, be careful what you wish for. Again, in my Wayback Machine, I used to say that, we're going to be wishing we were still in our basements, not out in the sunlight. And that's more of a metaphorical, not, exactly. But, we're going to go to the National. They're going to add this whole new section upstairs. You can't get a hotel room within 30 minutes of the place. If you didn't get a Airbnb 2 years ago, good luck to you. And this place is made for that convention center. And it's still going to be like Cleveland. And people that hate Cleveland need to reevaluate that maybe a little bit. It seemed like everybody had a good time there. We're going to see after this year what happens. I'm interested to see, because Fanatics is doing their big show this year before the National. And I just don't know how much money people have with that. You already have a lot of people going to the Strongville show. What's up, Big? Gary. I feel like your hobby dollar, and a lot of people go to Strongville now, and not a lot, but some go to Strongville and not the National. Some people go. We're starting to have these big regional shows. Well, not start. We've had them So we don't have but so many hobby dollars, and everything else is going up. My rent went up $30 a month. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it was already high to begin with for one person. Um, it's what do we do? And that's what we got to do is figure out where we're going. That's what I said. It's 90% now that I'll be going to Philly after reevaluating my money. Right. I want to have fun at the National, and I would love to go up and see my friends up in Philly and spend a couple of days with them. But they also have lives too, so they're going to be working and whatever. So you know, as much as I want to go up there, and I still see myself doing it, it's not a slam dunk right now. But because they could immediately resell for 1.5, 2 times John, and was a madness, couldn't keep the shelf stocked. Back when people lined up at Target at 3 a.m. Yeah. Um, and now I can go to them, and Target, not so much. But I have a Walmart that I can usually pick up stuff, and I can, like, I picked up a, couple of some select What's Up Sports Car Detour. I feel like the market has the hobby in the last like 2019 moving forward, you started seeing it, really in 2018 start this different way of doing things. And 2018, tell me if I'm wrong, Judge, is that the Judge rookie? Or I get my I know it's big, but that. And then when I saw where people went crazy over Jason Dominguez's first card, 2017 Judge. So after that, people went crazy. 217 was like, it opened up people's eyes to what the rookie card could be at this new level. And then, it just went crazy after that. And first cards, people want to speculate on Bowman first cards like it's rookie cards in other sports, but people that don't understand how baseball works don't understand like how hard it is to be to get to the MLB, stay in the MLB, and be a superstar in the MLB. That's a lot of things going on there, and to be a great in MLB. There's a reason. Even looking at the history of baseball cards, you start looking at stuff and you're like, there's no explanation or rhyme or reason sometimes why some players do well in our hobby and some don't. It does that across in every sport, every hobby. So to speculate at thousands and thousands of dollars, I just sit back and laugh. I sold a belly pink Mother's Day for $500 back in the day. Glad I don't have it anymore. Right. But where he's at now, Amari, if he has a great year, 500 might be chicken scratch. I enjoy cracking draft, just so expensive anymore. Yeah, Gary, I remember when Bowman was the stepchild of the hobby. Nobody, because everybody understood, like, it was kind of like Heritage Minor League, or there's other products of minor league players. But since they have airbrushed their major league uniforms on them, it was a different type of product. It's still minor league product. It don't matter if they got their major league uniforms on. It's still minor league product. And the more when I see them as rookie cards, it drives me crazy. I had to talk to somebody when I was in Iowa about it because he kept saying it's their rook, and I said no, it's their first card. XRC, whatever you got to tell, whatever to get through the day. It's baffling to me, when it comes to draft or Bowman at all. It has a lot to do with their on-field personal and charisma. I think it does, and I think it has a lot to do with where they're playing. Because I think if Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't in Middle America and won one of the coast, I think he would be, even though he's big in a hobby, I think he would just be huge. Bobby Baseball, um, Middle America, like just same way with Jose Ramirez with the Guardians. Just people don't know who they are, right? Don't understand who they are. Uh, it's sad, and Paul Goldschmidt was like that forever. Um, maybe he has a resurgence with the Yankees. I don't know, but you know, these great players, Christian Walker, they just don't get any pub where they play at. And again, baseball don't sell their stars like they should. They're starting to, like, it was said that Votto understood at the end of his career how big social media is for a presence, but a lot of baseball players don't use it to promote themselves. I don't know if it's frowned upon in the league or what, but Votto did awesome with it. I'm waiting to see if Votto gets a job being a broadcaster somewhere, because I think he's going to be great. But I feel like baseball really doesn't sell themselves. If the league's not going to sell you, your team's not going to sell you, other than put a big picture of you on the front of their stadium, then you need to sell yourself. And some other sports doing it. WNBA gets it. The hockey does a pretty good job with selling their players. I just don't think they do it well enough. I do not. I don't think he will, because he doesn't have the power numbers as a first baseman. You see a lot more football and basketball players in TV ads. Yeah, you do. You do. And I don't get it. Baseball, old school baseball. And I just the Ted Williams ad that I have, old school baseball used to be, they used to sell everything in ads. And, even when I was a kid, sell based on nostalgia, but change the game. Sell based on nostalgia, but change the game. I think Votto will too eventually. Get in the Hall. I don't think he will. I don't play in first base. There's a stigma in batting 300 and on base percentage. I don't think works well. It might. It might. I don't know, because I don't think he has the home runs. Yeah, where's Dom at? That damn War. Dom, he put War on there. Somebody with a wrench block his ass. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Where's Lou Rock? just joking. Just joking. I wish he would, just for his personality. I'm a Votto fan, so that's where I with Votto. I hope, but there's a lot of people I hope for. I thought the Hall this year was who got voted in for baseball was pretty good. Football was a little questionable to me, but baseball was pretty good. I didn't have any problems with who got in. Look at but high average, low home runs. Yeah, but things changed. You think he gets in? I rate him a little above Roland. Really? See you later. Oh, okay. Enjoy. Thanks for coming by. I'm at about the 1 hour spot anyway. Enough of rambling. I probably will talk more about this on later dates. I know tonight I did invite people and forgot the Super Bowl. So I probably yeah, me too, John. Me too, man. Gee. I was thinking, damn, now I want some tater tots. I feel like, this can be something we pay attention to as collectors, uh, see where it's geared for us in the future. Um, because at the end of the day, this whole thing was built on us, by us, and for us. And just because the money come in and took over, when that money runs out and they bleed it dry as far as they can go, we'll still be here afterwards. I've said that all along. It's, I might not be living, but the collectors behind me will. And I think if anything has shown us, we have a lot. 356 for home runs. That's my issue at first base. Batting average is great. On base, slug. Also hits only 2,000. I just know he walked a shit ton, a lot. So that doesn't really help you a lot. No slouch. Hall of very damn good. He'll be in the Reds Hall of Fame. Rollin only has 316 for third. Oh, well, he's got a shot then. Thank you, Amari, thank you for not putting up a war. I appreciate that. Thank you for giving me real numbers. I do appreciate that. Yeah, Votto in 5-year span, 6-year span, he was probably, if not the best, top 3 in baseball for a while. He plays an excellent first base. For a bigger fella, he can move around at first base pretty well. I really, I think Votto is really, if he gets in, I'll be happy for him. And I hope he does get in. Will he be a first ballot? That'll be the other. I'm so glad CC got in on the first ballot. I thought he should have. I don't like that bullshit game. If he's not good enough to get in on the first ballot, then what's the issue? Somebody playing the game, that Ichiro thing and not having a vote. This is my thought on all of that is there's somebody out there, people out there going to go, okay, I know Ichiro is going to get in, but I could put my vote somewhere else to help a guy get that percentage to stay on the vote or help somebody else. That's what they do. And I think I want to give people benefit of doubt why some people don't get unanimously in. That's my thought on it. Because we know Ichiro is a different type of dude. That was a different type of dude. That guy was special. So, the writers love Votto. Yeah. He won't be. I don't think it'll be first ballot. But yeah, I think I hope he doesn't have to stick around for 10 years like Billy Wagner. But yeah, like I said, very happy for this year's. You think Kenny Lofton should have? That's a player that, okay, you didn't get in. Because I love having a small hall. Love it. I think NFL's too loose. And I think baseball sometimes is too tight. Maybe somebody will sneak in that shouldn't be there. Maybe Harold Baines. Stay on the ballot longer. Oh, okay. Yeah. But I'm very happy that baseball has a tight. I'd rather argue about people getting in than why people got in like we do with football. Because I really think, I don't know, football this year really had me scratching my head. Hit enter. Gotcha. Gotcha, Mark. But yeah, that's all I got. I mean, give me your thoughts on, if you're watching us at a later date, on how this hobby's going. Again, Don't think it's going anywhere. Hobby never dies. People in it leave and it dies to them. But the hobby itself has never died, never will die. It will be around forever. So I feel like that could be true, Amari. But it didn't hurt Ricky Henderson. I think, when it comes to that, we're great. And well, us collectors will outlive these money hungry people. And who didn't you like getting into football? I don't think it was more of who got in, is like people being left out. And I know not everybody could get in, but it's such an offensive league now. Some of these wide receivers have such gaudy numbers. You're scratching your head like, how did he not get in? Or I don't know what a field goal kicker has to do to get in, but I don't know, like, I need a Dom for the NFL Hall of Fame to tell me what a player needs to do now to get in. That's the way I feel about it. And I'm not angry at it at all. I'm not even angry Harold Baines gets in. I don't care, really. I mean, I do care, obviously, but my thing is, I just think there needs to be more explanation sometimes. And baseball is very tough, and football is a little bit more relaxed. And some people get in, you're like scratching your head, and other people didn't. It does seem like football's more of a buddy system sometimes. That's it. And I mean, I'm more of a baseball guy, so I'm probably talking out of the side of my mouth on this one, because I'm not the football. I am not Brad by any means, and I'm hoping to have Brad on here sooner rather than later to talk some football stuff before we get well into the baseball. Kind of close out the football season. I like to have Brad on to talk about stuff. I can tell you, Huston, Tucker, and Boswell are already in essentially. Right. So I'm gonna leave. Yeah, okay. Justin Tucker. I kind of thought that's what you were talking about. Justin Tucker should be in. I mean, that dude, kind of was the benchmark for kicking till this year. But everybody has an end. But please let me know any thoughts, how what I missed, because I'm gonna share. These are just my opinions and my opinions alone. I think our hobby is just fine. I think the hobby, again, is a personal thing. And thank you, Double D. I think the hobby is a personal thing when it comes down to it. And the hobby is what you make of it at this moment, at the end of the day. There's things we don't like about it, but, there's also always things we love about it. That's why we're in it. So until next time, like, share. If you haven't subscribed, please think about doing it. Would love to have you. And until next time, see ya.